Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Energy Healing Lifestyle Journal Self-Care Challenge Day 12, where we are talking about communication, your truth, like speaking your truth, being in your truth, and the energy in the throat chakra. So, if you haven't grabbed your journal, please do so. I have mine in front of me as always, ready to go. Oops, kind of fell over there. That's okay. Lots of things came in today, and at first, a lot about with that protection and being within ourself and our truth, the bridge between our human and spirit, our soul, right? So when I was sitting with it and kind of do like a meditative journal, do you guys do that too? You just kind of start writing and you're listening and you're just being within yourself and being present and seeing what comes up for you and start flowing with that, right? And then writing that. And what was coming in a lot was about like being in alignment again with the source of unconditional love, but being physically present, but also open to our spirit self, not being so pushed and pulled by our humanness or human ego. And oftentimes that happens, right? We get emotional about things that are going on in the world or things that happen to us individually. And then we react and we project onto that, like more of that type of energy instead of getting quiet and being still and again being present with you and just listening and just allowing that being in that space, I can feel it. Can you feel that? Some things are challenging to put into words. Being present and just being open and present in the space around you, the space that you are in, is so expansive. And so much can come to us in that space, right? So normally on Fridays, and we talk about throat chakra, I do talk about communication. So how we speak, our communication styles, excuse me, if it's aggressive or passive aggressive or assertive, right? And also listening. And last week, I think it was more about listening. And today is more about that being still and listening as well. So, as empathic healers, and we talked about this week, our beliefs. What are our beliefs about being an empathic healer and the root chakra, right? And then what kind of emotions does that create in us when we think about being that empathic healer? We already know that the energy around us and other people's emotions or animals and things and that we pick up on can be overwhelming in itself. So when we are able to separate the energy that's not ours versus the energy that is ours, then how do you manage those emotions? And then how much of those emotions do we internalize and consider to be part of self or our self image, right? How much of that is humanness and ego, and more of the draining and push and pull based on our beliefs or our responsibilities and what roles we're supposed to take and what is supposed to be ours to handle and how we want to show up as people pleasers and fixers, right? Rescuers. And then in the heart space, do we allow forgiveness to occur? Do we allow ourselves forgiveness for putting ourselves in that situation, trying to take on more that isn't ours to take? And do we allow forgiveness for others who take advantage of our willingness to, right, overdo it, to overhelp, to take over and caregive kind of thing? Not that caregiving is a bad thing, but with boundaries, right? Still taking care of self. So now coming up to the throat chakra and in that bridge is what I was thinking of. Like normally I see the heart as the bridge, as like a infinity sign, making that connection and bridging in the heart space. But the throat too, like, so the element is all about space when it comes to the throat chakra, right? So again, being present within, grounding within ourselves. So that means detaching from energy that isn't ours to be holding on to, the energy that isn't ours to. And I think yesterday I said like grabbing that football and running with it, right? So kickball, kicking the ball back out if it's not ours, so that we can manage our own energy, so that we are grounded within ourselves, so that we know who we are, how we choose to move in the world, and being present in that space, listening to ourselves, listening to the source of unconditional love, listening there in that space more than the space of humanness, more than the space of the ego mind chatter, right? Where it gets on the hamster wheel, more in that space instead of the demands of others, right? What's going on with others? Mm, that's big. So, aware, assess, and align are the first three things that I cover in these videos, right? Having that self awareness, we can't detach if we don't know what's ours and what isn't. So, definitely getting grounded within ourselves, right? To have that awareness, then assessing what is ours and what isn't ours. So, speaking your truth, how do we know what truth we're speaking if we don't know what's ours? And then, how do I know what truth we're speaking? How do we know? How do you know what truth you're speaking? Once you see what is yours, if it's coming from the space of human ego-ness, like that trauma reaction space, or from highest, from the source of unconditional love, being able to make that differentiation. And then, of course, aligning with the source of unconditional love. So if you're not already feel like you're in alignment, what's a step you can take to get into alignment? It's not blame, shame, or guilt. It's not trying to perfect it. It's not trying to say, oh, I'm great and I got this and I'm always in alignment with the source of unconditional love. I never have a humanness moment, right? Of course we do. We're having a human experience. Of course we do. However, not getting taken over by that, right? We don't want to project out more ick into the world. We want to make sure that we're speaking from that higher vibrational frequency. And then how we speak on that as well. Because sometimes, I know tell me if you do this too, in my own reflections, if I look back, I can see how my intentions were really good to say something, but how I said it wasn't so great, right? Yeah, kind of like that. Hey, there she is. Hey, Iona says, hey, love, how are you? Thanks for hopping on. I almost forgot to hit the comment thing again, but I saw the little one and I was able to click over. How are you? Thanks for hopping over here. So I'm on my roll about communication and speaking our own truth and what truth it is that we're speaking. So I shared a little bit more. I think it was yesterday, how I shared with you before, Iona, about when I had felt like a chameleon, right? So it's not uncommon for empaths, empathic healers to feel like you lost yourself or that you adjust. It's like a survival technique, right? We adjust to situations that we're in based around where we are, who we are around, and so on and so forth. So today, really giving ourselves permission and making a point intentionally focusing that energy on ourselves so that we do know and we are aware. And if we don't know yet, we get to know who we really are and listening to ourselves, listening to our soul, listening to spirit, right? Just dropping my pen. Anna says, I am great. Fantastic. Yeah, communication. All those styles. Iona says truth. I hear that, right? Yeah. So I love doing this. So thank you again for teaching me this process, this method, this blueprint of journaling and how we can organize our journaling and really be intentional and aware in each of these different areas of our life because I know it helps me. I don't know who else it helps, but it helps me, that's for sure. And I am checking my journal because I think I touched on most of what I wanted to on my first page. Mhm. But I had more to write, so turn the page. It says you are welcome. Thank you, love. And it says, yep, it helps me too, right? It is lovely. It is lovely. So then the next phase that I've been adding on is for protection, right? My acronym of PRAY, protect your energy. So again, there's a key. How do we know what's ours to protect if we're not grounded within ourselves, if we're not aware of us, of who we are, of what feelings are ours versus what we're picking up from outside of us, right? So being aware of what's ours, asking that question, is this mine? And if it's not, release it. Part two of pray. Release what isn't ours and then appreciate the now moment. And we can always find something to appreciate, even in those times of challenges. If we really get honest with ourselves and allow ourselves an opportunity, we can appreciate start to appreciate those moments or notice different things that we can appreciate, right? Oh, I already said that. Sorry. I don't know why it looked like there was another one up there. Let me see. Oh, this came up and hit me pretty hard today. I was like, oh, snap. So when it comes to protecting your energy, protect your energy from you first. Ouch. But seriously, self-talk, right? So we talk about in communication. It is self-talk too. How do you speak to yourself? What expectations do you lay upon yourself? How are you, remember we talk about, do you meet yourself with love and compassion, or does that inner critic come up and start judging and criticizing, beating you down, right? Kick you when you're down kind of thing. Mine did. My ego did. Mine was harsh. I don't think I'm alone in that, right? So that's part of the self-awareness too, and protecting our energy, which is why the self-awareness is so important, so that we are aware of our own thoughts. We're aware of our own beliefs. We're aware of our emotions, the energy that is ours. We're aware of our own self-image and the image that we've adapted, that others have pointed at us to say that this is you, right? This is what you do. This is how I see you, or this is what I need from you, and this is what I expect from you. How much of that have we then owned and taken on and accepted as being who we are? But maybe we don't actually see that as who we are, right? So getting to know, what do you see as you? Who are the you that you choose to be, that's in alignment with the source of unconditional love, right? Because there is a difference in that. So that was like massive for me. And let me come back to comments so I don't get lost. Iona says this. What is theirs and mine? Big, big. Exactly, right? Because it gets all muddied and mingled together and attached. Like there's another word for it too. It's not coming to me. Entangled. There it is. Iona said there is another one. Ouch. Right? Yeah. That was like, ooh. And it can't, because I'm snarky. So it came to me snarky. I was like, ooh. Okay, I heard that loud and clear. I was listening, actively listening. Iona says, you are definitely not alone. Thank you. Iona says, yeah, no, that's not me. Thanks. Yeah, you'd get a kick out of it, I think. I don't know if you heard it. I was talking yesterday about when we figure out, what energy is ours and what isn't. And I think that there's also a misconception on being an empath or feeling energy as a healer. When you're feeling energy, I mean, you're opening yourself up, right? So you're open to feeling energy that isn't yours, and that part still happens. I think sometimes we have the idea that we want a shield and protection to not feel it at all. And I don't know that we do that. Like, that's not what I'm going to teach anyway, to be honest and transparent. I'm not teaching you how not to feel, but I'm teaching how to recognize what's yours and what isn't. So you don't have to, and I'm not into sports, but I used these sports themes came to me yesterday. Again, I don't know because I'm not even into sports, but it reminded me of like, just because energy is thrown at me, because we can't control what other people do, right? But just because someone throws it at me or throws it at you, we don't have to catch it like a football, hold it close and run with it, right? We don't have to keep it. We don't have to hold on to it. And that's what I'm teaching. Then the next one was like hot potato. And I'm doing this and it made me chuckle because you know how visuals will just pop in my head. And hot potato. I'm like, I don't want to play hot potato with it either. I'm not trying to juggle it. It's not mine to juggle. So then kickball for the win. And I saw it more like just playing kickball, releasing what is no longer yours, send it back to its original source. And then I have this image of like kicking it back. Here you go. This is yours. That's what I'm teaching. I'm teaching kickball. Snarky, it makes me laugh. It still does. Iona says, yes, discernment. That is theirs and this is mine. 1,000,000%, right? And we do not have to own it, keep it, hold on to it, fix it. We don't even have to fix it. Free will and accountability. We don't have to fix other people's stuff. We help other people when we fix this, our own stuff, right? Remember, part of the collective starts within. literally. And I still think we lose sight of that. I still lose sight of that. There's still times I'm like, oh, pull it back, right? Not yours. What is it you say sometimes, Iona? Stay in your lane. Get out of that. Not yours. Back it up. Iona says, drop it, kick it, bounce it out. I like that exactly. Yep. Drop it, kick it, bounce it. Exactly. It's not ours. It is not our responsibility. I think, however we learned it, could have been direct, indirect, just how we understood it in the moments that we picked up on it, internalized it, tried to process it, tried to figure it out, like wherever, however, it got rooted in the beliefs for empaths, empathic healers when you're knowing or when you're learning who we are and what we do and why we're here. And yes, we are here to help heal. We're not here to rescue, do it, take it over. Right. And there's a big difference. And sometimes it's challenging to see that where that line is, right? To notice the boundary or to create a boundary so that we are able to take care of our own. So that's what I'm bringing more to the table with. Iona says, done. Check with that exactly. Iona says, yeah, lanes, we stay and focus and they come along or not. Yeah. Well, in some, they people use the term like narcissist or energy vampires, right? Sometimes people are very persistent. I'm trying to find the word, but seriously, persistent. And they keep coming and they keep coming. Or you're in a situation, let's say like my own, being a caregiver for my mom. And Iona, you know more than what I'll share on the live just for the sake of time and whatever. But um, that like is a continuing lesson of itself, right? And we have ups and we have downs, and we have ups and we have downs. I've recently caught myself again, like, and I can tell. So I like solitude, right? I'm not trying to change that. I like solitude. I don't have to be in it 24/7, but when I've had enough, right? Energies around me, I like to take that. That's part of my release to come into the bedroom or outside if it's nice out or whatever, but to detach a little bit and work through, clear out my stuff, right? Make sure I have those boundaries set energetically. I know what's mine, I know what isn't. Keep myself clear, do my own healing, journal if I need to, whatever it may be, right? Over the past week and a half, I've had less time to be able to do that because we were doing stuff. And my energy's been over full with with energy. I'd rather not be. I'm trying to drop it, right? Drop it, kick it back. However, the how do I then do that? Because I've already committed and made the decision that I'm staying to continue my role as a caregiver. So owning that, right? Free will accountability. We don't get to skip the accountability. So having that awareness, but then also catching, being aware to assess and align, aware of those moments where it's like, oh, I can feel myself starting to get irritable and I can feel myself starting to get almost like resentful and I can feel myself some of those old things will come up. Okay, that's a clue. Here's my sign, right? And I could see it coming back to me, being mirrored, I assume, back to me because tenfold. I'll just say it like that, tenfold. So whatever I might have been missing within, it was showing up outside of me, right? So being mindful of that to take care of me and then making a point to create space, element of the throat chakra today, having that space so I can be present within me. Like I said, my journaling was even deeper today, like it went on a little bit further. I'm about to, you know, take a little drive, run some errands after this video, just creating more of that space to take care of me. I've cleaned my environment. So Iona talks about environmental freedom on Thursdays. So yesterday I actually spent practically the whole day cleaning this room, cleaning this space, like under the bed, the closets, the shelves behind me, like everything, cleaning it physically and then clearing the energy in it as well. as I do my own, right? My own cleaning, which in a sense, to me, journaling is part of that cleaning process. And then clearing, I like to use incense and Reiki and energy clearing healing process rituals, right? So all of that, but it's consistent lessons. So each time I think, oh, look, here we've come so far and I made this big shift and it showed up in the physical and I could see, the relationship has improved and I can see in the way that we communicate and the energy around us and people that come to visit are feeling it too. And then something again where that overwhelm comes in, there's another shift, but more of a dip shift. And that's becoming more obvious too. So taking those steps that we know how to take to help balance to clear that out again so we can shift up instead of dipping back down, right? We've done it before and when it was even more challenging. So this, we can figure this out. That won't be bad. But it's still a thing. What's mine? What's not mine? And then I have to decide what I'm doing with mine, right? What do I choose to do with my beliefs, my thoughts, my emotions? My energy? Do I beat myself up for getting irritable or do I meet myself with love and compassion and I go, okay, human again. Weird. Still a human. Come to comments here. Oh, I skipped. Iona's laughing. Yes, ma'am. Iona says definitely lessons, caregiving when we are in that role. Lots of them. Lots of them. Awareness is key. Thank you for that. Iona says EFT, yay. So if you guys aren't familiar with the acronyms in the Soul Legacy Journal, which Iona is speaking to, which she teaches, EFT is an abbreviation for Environmental Freedom Thursdays. I got the day right. Iona says all of that cleaning and clearing matters. It really does. And I could tell the difference. And I slept really well last night. It's just a calmer. So then when I do need that space, and I use the bedroom as part of that space that I retract into, then the energy here is clearer. And that, thank you for bringing that up because that's something else to be mindful of. If I'm walking away from a situation that might be irritating or upsetting or heavy or overwhelming or draining or whatever it may be, and I walk over to another space, be mindful that whatever you had right here, you're carrying it with you and you're taking it to your next space, right? So just removing yourself isn't necessarily going to be enough. What do you do when you move yourself? What do you do when you get to that next space? That's what becomes important, right? I don't want to hold on to it. I could come in the room and just be like I did as a kid, mumble, 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 add to it, add to it, add to it, more junk, more junk, more junk, and create more of the same energy. Instead, it's a way of detachment. I come into the room to detach from it, release what's no longer mine, and start clearing whatever it is that I need to do. Do I need to journal? Do I need to just breathe? Do I stare out the window, which I absolutely love to do because I can visualize being outside when it's cold while I'm inside where it's warm just by looking out the window and I have a decent field view out the window. But whatever it may be that you are doing to help clear and release your energy once you've removed yourself. But again, it's important to have that awareness to know what is mine. So I keep mine. We keep our own energy. That is ours to take care of. There's our accountability. That's how I do healing. That's how you do healing, right? As you start within. But then release what isn't yours, manage what is, and then appreciate the now. So again, building that frequency, and I'll come to comments in just a second. Give me 1 minute to get the rest of this out. Um, appreciating the now, building that energy of gratitude, of love to help fill the spaces that we released that were so heavy and gross. Remember, we don't want to leave gaps in our energy field. We want to fill it. And if we don't fill it with things like gratitude and love, then we're open to those more opportunities for more negativity to step in and fill that gap, fill those spaces, right? Kind of like our minds. If we don't intentionally, as Iona teaches, intentional living, intentional thinking, if I don't find things to intentionally think about, whether it's to process through something, to intentionally release that energy, to intentionally, whatever it may be, I added the appreciation to have that energy of gratitude. If I don't intentionally do that, then my mind is open to hop on the hamster wheel again, right? And start negative thinking and allowing the ego to take through with the old patterns, with the old thoughts, with the old icky junk stuff, right? So we don't want to leave that space open. Okay, I think I'm off my rant now. Let me go into comments. Iona says dips become OBS and the contrast is normal. It's great awareness. Dips become, I didn't catch that. What's the OBS? Dips become observations? Observed? I'm sorry, I'm guessing. And the contrast is normal. Oh, I'm sorry. Obvious. Gotcha. Yes. Thank you. I was trying. Dips become obvious and the contrast is normal. It's great awareness. Absolutely. Again, no blame, shame, and guilt. So thanks for bringing that up. It is just awareness, right? Because if I'm not aware, then I just stay on, at least for me, I've just stayed on a hamster wheel and then I'm stuck there. And then it leads me straight to burnout, depression, anxiety, and all those things that I don't want to feel. Iona says truth, energy clearing and protection, 1,000,000%. Send it back. You got it. Iona says frequency, right? It so matters. Iona said, I literally was about to type frequency and you said it. Perfect. Obviously, right, right. Obvious. Got it. That's so funny. Thank you. Laughing with me. Thank you. So yeah, I think that's a wrap, right? I think we covered it all. Let me recheck my journal and make sure I have everything here that I wanted to share today that came up. Mhm. Oh, something you can do too that is helpful, that has helped me along the way, and I think I've shared this before, is writing in a journal, right? My brain rambles much faster than my hand can write or type even, right? Excuse me. So it's a way to kind of force your mind to slow down at least a little bit so that you can try to write. Used to be when I got started, my mind spun so fast with whatever thoughts, automatic thoughts, that I would struggle to to write. I couldn't catch everything that my brain was saying, but it's okay. And my point to you is if you do the same to say that it's okay, do it anyway. So if you have choppy sentences in your journal and you go back and read it and you're like, what? It's okay. It doesn't matter. It's the process that you did it. It's the process of retraining your brain. It's the process of just incorporating and using a tool to start to slow yourself down. It's a process of becoming more aware. So even though you didn't get to write everything down, you became more aware of what kind of thoughts were going through your mind at the time, right? Again, even if you forget them, it's still a step in awareness. So big kudos. What was the other part about? And then when you reflect back, you can have a better idea. What are my thoughts? What are my beliefs? How do I feel about that, right? Where did that come from? I don't even agree with that. I've done that before when I'm journaling. That's how I started to learn that everything wasn't mine that I thought was mine. So when I journaled and I went back and read, I'm like, where it almost to me seemed like someone else wrote it, which they didn't. It was me. I just wasn't aware, right? Because I had adapted so much, I internalized so much of other people's stuff. I literally was living through their lenses instead of my own. So journaling really helped me with that. Iona says, thanks, love. You are welcome. Thanks for being here. It's nice to see you on live again. Iona says, oh, I will slow down my writing because I can't read anything. But again, it's do you find benefit in the process still? And I know you do because you've mentioned it, and I know you do too, if you don't mind me saying, because you'll share it. Like I don't know, but just because you wrote it down, it's like it helps imprint it almost, or it just strengthens that awareness just because you did it, right? Whether you can read it or not. But it is interesting when you can read it. The slippers are sticking. So, side note for sticky slippers. Wiping up things on a hardwood floor with a Clorox wipe probably isn't the best idea because now it's like sticky. Just saying for whoever might need to hear that. Um, Iona said, I do. Yeah, right? Yeah, I do share it. That's why I figured, you're not going to mind if I do, because I know I've heard you say it on the lives before. So thank you. And then, yes, and again, whether we think it does or not, building our appreciation, building that energy of gratitude, in a sense, does help create a shield. I'm doing air quotes. It's not the kind of battle shield that we may think of. It's not the kind of, again, battle shield where we're blocking off and we're completely avoiding the energy around us. We're not doing that. I mean, again, if we think about the definition of an empath or empathic healer, even energy worker, as you're opening yourself up, you open yourself up to feel, right? Or to be aware in some way, shape, or form, whatever clears your strongest in and how you receive that energy. But we don't have to be taken down with it. We don't have to hold on to it. We don't have to be pushed and pulled by it. We don't have to be overwhelmed and drained by it. And that's the kind of shield I'm speaking of. And it's not to say that we won't have to do it again and do it again. You know, it's yes, we have practices in the morning or at night or at noon, but it's also whenever we need it. So I can prepare myself, just as an example, or in generally speaking, I can prepare myself and do all the things in the morning before I step foot out of the bedroom and get met with a not pleasant attitude and then feel like this big chunk of like that beautiful energy I just had built around me. It felt like somebody just took a chunk out of it, right? But again, it doesn't have to stay that way. It's not like, oh, it was supposed to be a one and done. Okay, well, here's the situation, and I'll address it and I'll move through it and then I'll fill that space back up again, right? Because we can refill it. We don't have to walk around with that big chunk out or allow the negativity to start seeping in. We can readdress it and readdress it and readdress it. And we readdress it by more gratitude, more love, right? So, as much as I may not shower an individual with love physically or even verbally, or allow certain things because of boundaries behind the scenes or from my heart space energetically, I'm still not 100%, but still focusing on, just because I'm still human and transparency, sending that love anyways, right? Love at a distance, love no matter what, send it. Doesn't mean lay down and be a doormat. It just means don't meet it with hate, because it just builds more of that icky energy. And in our defenses, sometimes we do that just because it's a protective, it's how we learned how to survive and protect ourselves. So that has been more in my awareness as well. Just saying. This is funny. Yes. Yeah, no. Gotta have some humor. Iona says, yeah, energy blocks and it stops our flow. It really does. It grosses it up and then it just creates literally, and that's what we're manifesting, right? We tend to use that word manifest. And I know we've had this conversation and you've talked about it as well. We talk about manifesting as if manifesting is only our desires, are only the things that we want in life, are only the high vibrational things. Oh no, we're manifesting all the dang time. I think it's just that some people use different words. Like, no, I didn't want to experience all this contrast. Really, I didn't. I didn't want to feel so stressed. I didn't want to feel so overwhelmed. I didn't want to feel so insignificant. I didn't want to feel so worthless. I didn't want to feel so, but that's what we manifested because wherever we were at in that moment, right? And we were either in the process of moving through it or stuck and not yet moving through it, then allowed us to create more of it because that's what we projected out. Ugh, accountability. This is just saying, I hear you, right? Truth. It says it's still manifesting exactly, and it really is. Some people call things what, like a mirror effect, and what are some other, I don't know, just projection. Um, Either way, it is still manifesting. We're either manifesting from a lower vibrational frequency or a higher. And again, it's not to say that we should not have feelings or emotions, and it's not to say that we should be condemned for having a human experience, because that's literally what we're here for. It's just to bring that awareness, because most of us don't want to feel icky, right? We don't want to feel overwhelmed. We don't want to feel burned out. We don't want to feel drained. We don't want to feel dismissed and insignificant and all the other things. We want to feel happier. We want to feel more joy. We want to feel more love. But when things happen, we feel hopeless and helpless, and we don't realize that we are more empowered and we have more power than what we think we do to be able to clear and heal that stuff out so that we can then create more through that space of love and manifest more through that space of love, right? But that's why we show up and we journal every single day. As Iona would say, just saying. Thank you for the hearts. Thank you. True. Yeah. So yeah, again, that is a wrap. So if you have not, thank you, Iona, for being on here live. Thank you for the others who hopped on live and who come back for the replay. If you've not yet signed up for my brand new first time masterclass in transparency, the link is in the description. Please sign up for that. It's November 20th, I believe 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It'll show up on the link. I know I said the date wrong the one time, but we're going to go into this deeper, the protecting your energy and releasing the energy, boundaries, what's ours, what isn't, what is our responsibility, what isn't, how we can protect our energy, how we can protect ourselves, and how we can feel more empowered as we move through as empathic healers, right? Iona says daily, y'all, for real, for real. And because I have now missed 2 days, I made up for them though. Like I still journaled, I just didn't get on live to do the live on the day. So I think I did the one live the day after, and I did another recorded and then just uploaded it the day after. But the journaling process and the intentional living and the efforts that we make to work with our ego, right? We're not killing it, not how to kill it, to heal and work with our ego, with that humanness, um, is a daily process. And it says, yeah, I'm about to do mine in a bit. Awesome. I'll try to catch it. I have to run some errands, but if I make it back in time, if not, I'll peek in on a replay. So thank you again for all who shared your time and space and energy. Make sure you come back and meet with me again tomorrow so we can talk about and journal through more on alignment and the observer mode and the third eye chakra. Again, don't forget to sign up for the masterclass. I'm super excited about that. And when you sign up for the masterclass and you're on the live with me on that masterclass, I'll be offering some extra free bonuses. Just saying. So hope to see you there as well. Take good care. So much love. See you soon. Bye, guys. Love you, Iona. Thank you.